welcome back. I know I've been MIA the last couple of weeks, but my fall semester started for college, so I've kind of been sorting myself out, getting a schedule down, getting my dance schedule ready, and all that jazz. So now that everything's kind of settled down, I thought I'd sit down here and talk to you guys. I did go to RuPaul's DragCon about 2 weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I thought I'd hop on and tell you guys about it and how much fun I had because it was so much fun. As you can see, I got my walls all decorated, and I tried to make my bed, but little pupper man over there is hanging out, so I did the best I could. But I did go to both days of RuPaul's DragCon. I definitely recommend going to both days because that way, like day one, I was kind of, waiting in line, doing all my shopping, and day two was when I really got to enjoy the show and see panels and runway performances. And I got to meet Cynthia Lee Fontaine, which I adore her. I literally adore her. So the first thing we did on day one, I don't even remember, but we picked up our tickets and our book, and inside the book is the show map and the floor map and the list of vendors and the schedules for panels and stuff. So this was kind of your go-to guide for the weekend of what you wanted to do and who you wanted to see and where you had to go. So we did pick up, I'm trying to think, on day one we did Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics, Sugar Pill. I'm looking at my stuff. We went to Ricky's NYC, and I told myself I was not going to buy eyelashes because if you know me, I have an eyelash problem and I don't need any more lashes. But I walked in and they're like 25% off, and I was like, 25% off lashes, I can't pass that up. So I got lashes. So let's start with, I'm going to start with OCC. So at OCC, there wasn't really, so the lines in general for the entire show were ridiculous. You couldn't even move around. And that was the only thing that really bothered me about the show is it was so hard to actually do anything or see anything because there were just, I felt like a cow, being herded into a corral or whatever. It was just terrible. But we tried to pick, we tried to alternate long lines and short lines, so I wasn't waiting in line for an hour to jump into another line that was an hour long. So we went to OCC first because they had a pretty short line. And there I picked up 2 of their glitters. This is in the shade Aqua and in the shade Beige, which this is kind of like a coppery, not much of a beige. But these are the 2 glitters that I got, and I did just get my nails done, thank goodness. I tried to go with things that I didn't really have. I definitely wanted to push myself outside of my comfort zone because I do stick with a lot of neutral shadows, golds, warm tones. So it's if there's a place to break out of your shell and grab some bright colors and glitters, it's definitely going to be DragCon. And then I also picked up a lip tart in the shade Lydia, which is this nice purpley color with the matching lip liner as well. And a lot of the brands, we're having discounts too, so not all of the stuff was full price, which was pretty good. Sugar Pill was one of the better ones. They were having, each thing was $2 off of their original price. So instead of $10, things were $8 and stuff like that. So at Sugar Pill, I picked up 3 eyeshadows. Ignore this one, this is from MAC. But I picked up these 3 eyeshadows, and these are the shadows I wore on day 2. So these are the color, I think it's Kimchi, Velocity, and Poison Plum. Let me just double check this one. Yeah, Poison Plum. And I wanted to get Dolly Pop because that was the bright pink one. And if you guys know Pheromone swears by that pink color. So I really wanted it, but they were sold out super quick, which was totally expected. And then I also picked up this liquid lipstick in the color Strange Love. It's this nice little metallic red color. I think it's going to be really great for fall. And I got a lip liner to go with that as well, which I'm really excited about. And then we went to Ricky's, and this is where I did some damage. I picked up a pair of, you can see obviously I've used them because they don't want to stick in their holders anymore. But I got a pair of Lily lashes in the style Mykonos because everyone speaks so highly of them. And I wore them on day 2. I do like them. The only issue I have is the band is so wide. So it's kind of hard, you can't cut the band without ruining the style of the lash. So I get, it pokes me in the inner corner of my eye. So I love the way they look. They're just not as comfortable as I'd like them to be, especially for that price. I believe full price they're $35, and I did get them for 25% off. And I also picked up a pair of House of Lashes again, falling off the thing because I use them all the time, in the style Iconics, and these I swear by. Like, I was die hard for Violet Voss lashes until I tried these, and I've worn them like every single day. And these are on the cheaper side too. These are $12 a pair, and again, the 25% off from Ricky's, which was pretty nice. So on day one, I got in line. I really, really, really wanted to meet Pheromone. So the way the meet and greets worked is you had to wait in one line to buy merchandise, and then when you bought merchandise, that's how you got your ticket for the meet and greet. And I understand why they do that, but at the same time, I feel like there could have been a way to kind of like run that whole process more efficiently, because it's like you wait in line for 45 minutes and then you wait in another line for 45 minutes. I feel like if they could kind of like mainstream the process to make everything flow a little better, that would have been a lot nicer, because by the time I got up to the front of the line for merchandise, they're like, oh, well, Fair's gone. Like, she's not doing any more meet and greets today. But your ticket works for tomorrow. So that's where, like, I was kind of frustrated, is I feel like there could have been a little more, like, organization. But I did pick up one of her prints, and I'm probably going to get these framed and hung on my wall as well. But I picked up her print, and I got her ticket. I actually didn't end up meeting her the second day because her line was so long, and I understand it, like, I get it, I'm not upset, like, the girl's gotta eat, the girl's got stuff to do, like, people want to meet her, it's fine. I just personally, it was like I had other things I wanted to do that day rather than wait in a line for 2 hours. I did actually run into her outside of the convention center on my way out, and she didn't have time to pose for a picture, which, again, totally fine, like, she has a busy schedule, I get it. But I did say hi, like, I told her I loved her and all this stuff, and I did get to see her briefly, which was pretty cool, because she was kind of, like, not out of character, but, like, in a more, like, natural, not just, like, sitting, posing, hanging out sort of situation, so that was pretty cool. So then, is that it for day one? That might be it for day one. On day two, this was personally my favorite day out of the 2 days, because like, day one, we got all of our long lines out of the way and all our shopping out of the way. I did pick up on day one. Oh, wow, I'm totally forgetting, like, a whole 2 booths. I'm sorry, I'm terrible. The first booth we actually went to on the first day is all in this bag. They were selling, like, patches and pins and buttons and stuff. So I wore a denim jacket on day one, and I was like, oh, what am I going to use patches for? And then I looked down, and I was like, duh, Katie, you own a denim jacket. So I picked up a duh one because it's pink and totally sassy, and I'm always down for pink and sass. And I also picked up a New York City one, since that is my home city, and that is where the event was. So these are the 2 patches I got from there. And then I picked up 2 buttons as well. One that says, I don't care, and one that says, I'm perfect, because I agree with both of those things. I don't think I'm perfect. There's definitely room for improvement, but I definitely do not lack in self-confidence anymore, which is a good thing. And then because I spent, I think it was $20, Strange Ways, this is from the company Strange Ways. I'll link their website down below in their Etsy shop. They gave me their own pin because I spent, I think, more than $20. So I got that, and then we also went to the DragCon booth, and I got a DragCon t-shirt and a DragCon button. So I think that is it for day one, I'm pretty sure. So, day two, which was so much fun. I had so much fun, because that was the day, again, like I said, we got to do runway performances and panels and looking around and looking at, the queens that were walking up and down the aisles. And I just thought it was so amazing to me, not only how much talent was there, but how accepting everyone was, especially I feel like the communities that are subject to the most discrimination are sometimes the ones that are most accepting, and that's always amazed me and, like, warmed my heart, because going to DragCon was such a nice break from everything that's going on in the world right now and all of the chaos and political fire and social fire and all of this stuff. So it was definitely a nice little getaway to just be in an entire convention center full of, like, love, where everyone was just so well represented and so happy to just exist and be themselves. It was amazing. It was amazing. I would go back every single weekend for the rest of my life if I could. But day two, the first thing we did was I went to the Jeffree Star booth, and I said this in my blog post. I know there's a lot of controversy about him, but I want to say that it is possible to not be a fan of a person but still support them and respect them as a business person and as an influencer. So I'm not the biggest personal fan of Jeffree, and I'll be completely open about that, but at the same time, I respect his work ethic, I respect his company and the effort he's put into it, and I respect his opinions. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I haven't tried any of his products before, so I thought I might as well get my hands on them now while they were discounted. So I picked up his liquid lipstick in Rose Madder, and that's what I have on my lips right now. I like the formula. I don't like the applicator, and I don't like the smell. And I know smell is something that's like really subjective, but they smell like root beer, and I don't like root beer. I've never liked root beer, so like the whole smell thing, that's just like a personal preference. That's nothing like bad about the company. I love the formula. I wish the applicator was a little more, I don't know if you can see, it's like there's like a little divot in it instead of like a true doe foot. There's a divot. And it gets on my teeth a lot. But again, the formula is great. I wear these all day with no touch-ups, and they don't dry out, so I will definitely be purchasing these in more colors pretty soon, I hope. I also picked up a Skin Frost in the shade Ice Cold, and first of all, I just want to say, I just got my nails done, first of all. Second of all, it is so hard to open this packaging with nails. So watch me struggle for a minute. Oh, just kidding. I jinxed it. But this is the shade Ice Cold, and I kind of wanted to get one of the more unconventional colors, like either the pink or the black or the lavender, but because I'm so fair right now, I feel like it would just leave such a colored cast on my face, like if you were looking at me straight on, rather than like a nice light kind of situation like I got going on here. But those of you that have been with me from the start know that I'm a diehard for the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops with a little bit of the Physicians Formula Luminizing Pearls on top, or the ABH Vermeer Shadow from the Modern Renaissance palette, but I've been reaching for this non-stop. This doesn't make my skin look dry either. I've noticed recently with the Cover FX drops that my skin has been kind of patching up over here, and this isn't doing this. So absolutely love this, love the formula. It's a nice glow without being like greasy, because a lot of times by the end of the day with my Cover FX drops, I would look in the mirror after school and be like, oh my god, I look like an oil slick. Like, it was just too much shine. This is like the perfect amount, so I definitely recommend those to you. And then we went to see a panel discussion, and it was called Paris is Still Burning, the Ballroom Scene, How It's Modernized, stuff like that. So for those of you who don't know either much about the drag world or much about the documentary Paris is Burning, it was a documentary filmed in the 80s, and it was about balls, and what balls are essentially, in simpler forms, drag competitions. And there would be different teams, would be houses or families, and there would be, people would be drafted or picked into certain houses or try to get into certain houses, and they would have these competitions in bars and clubs and stuff like that. So that was filmed in the 1980s, and so this panel had, actually, I'm going to pull out my little, where did I put my RuPaul book? I'm going to pull out my RuPaul book to, make sure I get all the names right and the name of everything right, because it was such an amazing panel to listen to. And I think it was interesting because they were having a lot of panels that had all the big names in them, but the lines for those were so long to get in, and I think this was something I was actually really interested in because I am a sociology nerd, and I'm into culture, and I'm into things like that, so this was something I was really interested in. And I watched Paris is Burning a couple months ago, so I definitely wanted to see how it's modernized and whether or not that modernization was something that was accepted into the community or not. So let me see. So the panel was called Paris is Still Burning, Ballroom Takes the Floor. And it says, the description of it is, learn what's in vogue with the movers, shakers, and death droppers of the New York City ball scene of then and now. The panelists were Jack Mizrahi, Mariah I'm going to butcher her name, Balenciaga. Please, for the love of lashes, let me know if I butchered that and correct me if I'm wrong. Tyra Ella Ross, Twiggy Pussy Garçon, and Vivacious, and Michelle Visage was there, which was awesome, because if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, she's a judge on that, and she's just a great person, I think, overall. So the entire panel, they were just talking about pretty much how they got into the ball scene, and it was interesting to hear Michelle talk about how she didn't think she was going to get into the ball scene because she's a biological female. She's not a male, she's not transitioning to be a male, she's a biological female. But they accepted her into the community, and a lot of what the panelists were saying were how they turned to the ball scene and their ball families when their regular families or their regular communities weren't accepting them. And that's what I was talking about earlier, how the communities that are so often discriminated against and stigmatized and, talked poorly about are the ones that accept people no matter what. Hey, you don't have your own family or they don't accept you for who you are, we will. And that was really great. But she was saying how, you know, she was around. She was on the ball scene when Paris is Burning was filming, and they wouldn't let her be in it. And it wasn't a discriminatory thing. They were like, you don't represent what this is. They were like, you're part of it, and, you know, we accept you for it, and you can do it, but you are not, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not a fair representative of what this community is. And she was like, yeah, totally. And she totally got it. And she was like, cool. So it was interesting to see her talk about all these people who were in the documentary, and kind of hear her experience on it. And I think the best part of the panel was someone raised their hand and they asked, Hector Extravaganza was there. And he is the founder of the Extravaganza family for the ball scene, I believe. And they raised their hand and they said, I'm from Connecticut. And, you know, our community in Connecticut wants to start doing balls and start having competitions like this. But we have no outlet to do it. So how do you go about starting your own ball, and how do you go about starting a community to actually do this? And Hector Extravaganza, like, essentially took the mic and he said, I will give you my business card. I will come to Connecticut and I will help you, and I will do this for you, and I will help you set up whatever kind of community you want to set up. The entire room just went into, like, thunderous applause. And that's what I'm saying again, like, it's just such a loving community. Oh, I can't. It's amazing to see this unconditional love with no questions, with no expectations, with no anything. Just, you need help, I'll help you. So it was really heartwarming as well. So that entire panel was amazing to hear them talk about all these social issues and how they kind of, you know, took what problems they had outside of the drag community and brought them in and made this amazingly tight-knit community that has evolved so much since, you know, the 1980s. So that was really cool. Okay, so the panel ended, which was amazing. I had so much fun. Shout out to Marissa, who was my friend who came with me, for sitting through it with me, because she was not as into the panels as I was, but that's fine. So we were kind of like winding down. That took up most of our day. We were just walking up and down the aisles. We saw a runway performance of Sylvester, which is going to be a musical on Broadway in 2018, which I'm so excited for. But it is about a 1970s queen named Sylvester who took over the disco scene as a drag queen. And so their Broadway performance was there. They had like 4 members of the cast there to perform. Their vocals were amazing. They got the crowd so into it. It was so much fun. There were some great songs. I'll link the website to buy tickets down below too, so you can find out all the information if that's something you're interested in going to see. And then after that, we were kind of settling down. We're like, okay, we walked all the aisles. We saw everything. We saw the panels. Like, what else? And I didn't really want to wait in any long lines that day. I got most of my purchases, you know, the day before. I got all the line waiting done the day before. And I'm going to start this off. I met Cynthia Lee Fontaine. And I'm going to start this out by saying a couple months ago, I followed her on Instagram since I saw her on Drag Race. And she posted this Instagram story of her makeup and like these bright blue contacts and this bright pink lip. And she looked amazing. She looked flawless. And I meant to, like, you know how you can swipe up and like send it to people? I meant to send it to one of my friends to be like, oh my God, look at this. This is so amazing. And I accidentally replied to Cynthia. And I was like, oh crap, you know, whatever. I didn't really expect anything of it. You know, she's busy. She's got her whole career going. Like, I didn't really think I would hear anything back. And like 2 hours later, I get this message from her and it says, thank you, my love, with like 20 purple hearts. And it's just like, not that it was like, oh my God, Cynthia Lee Fontaine responded to me. But like, I mean, yes, that, but also knowing that she takes the time out of her day to like do little things like that and respond to the people who support her, like, was really nice. So I had a good taste in my mouth from the start. I was like, Cynthia is probably like a great person. And we were walking out and I noticed her line wasn't really, you know, that long. And I looked at Marissa and I was like, please let me do this. Like, I love her. So Marissa did some extra shopping while I waited in line and I picked up her print as well. So this is what I got. And then I waited in line and the first thing she said to me, I have a video actually, I'll put it in here. But I walk up to her she looks at me, she goes, you're giving me Alaska vibes. And if you don't know who Alaska is, she's another drag queen. I believe she won a season of All Stars or a season of Drag Race. She won something. I don't remember which one though. But I walked up and she goes, you're giving me Alaska vibes, like the long blonde hair, and I had this bright blue makeup on with this bright pink lip. I'm like, first of all, that was the best compliment ever. Alaska's beautiful. I was like, oh my god, I look like a beautiful drag queen. Like, thank you. I was so flattered, which is kind of like, I feel like most people wouldn't be excited over that, but I was. But then she was saying, oh my gosh, Alaska would be so excited to meet you because you're an actual female. And that made me laugh. She was like, you look like her and you're an actual girl. And then, you know, we took our picture and everything, and there was like a chair behind her so she could like lean down and sign the pictures. And I told her, I was like, I don't know if you remember, but a couple months ago, like, I replied to you on Instagram by accident. You actually took the time to respond to me, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. Like, you know, you probably don't remember. And she goes, what's your name? And I was like, Katie. And I gave her my like Instagram handle and everything. She goes, no, I do remember. You're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful. She was like, I take the time out of my day to respond to you because you take the time out of your day to respond to what I do and support me and accept me, and without you, I am nothing. And just that entire thing, like how truly thankful she is for where she is and what she's doing, it was amazing. She was just so stinking sweet, and I had so much fun meeting her. It was like a dream come true. It was like a dream I didn't even know I had until it was there. I was like, I need to do this. And I did, and it was great. After that, it was gearing towards the end of the day. It was like 3:15, 3:30, and the event ended at 4 o'clock. So there were a lot of booths basically trying to like give their stuff away so they didn't have to pack it up. So OPI was doing dollar nail polishes, and as you know, I am an acrylic girl, so I didn't buy any nail polishes, but y'all are gonna laugh at me. Y'all are gonna yell at me. Ardell Lashes was having 20 pairs of lashes for $20. That's $1 for a pair of lashes. Got $1. One of these. Just $1. I was flipping out, guys. I was so panicked. I was like, we have to do this. Like, stop what we're doing. I made a beeline to the booth with Marissa, and we actually split it, so we each got 10 pairs. I don't have all 10 in front of me right now because they're in my drawer, but I'll pop some out. I picked up, you know, some 207s. I did try to get ones that were a little more like non-conventional, like ones I haven't, like not a lot of wispies. So I got some pink ones, some purple ones, some from their gypsy line. I got some from their Halloween line that have like the sparkles on it, so that was pretty cool. And that was it. So yeah, that was kind of it. I definitely recommend going to this event. I definitely recommend buying 2 tickets for both days if you do go, because that way you get to do a lot more than what you would primarily do in one day, and you don't miss out on the awesome sales like dollar eyelashes. The only thing that bothered me about the event was how long the lines were. And it wasn't even like, I get there's going to be lines. It's not even about how long they were, but there was just like a pretty severe lack of like organization. Like a lot of people were like, oh, what line is this? And we didn't even know. So we ended up like getting stuck in lines we didn't want to be in, or we were getting in the wrong lines because there was no one there kind of like directing traffic. And when I went to BeautyCon in 2015, I went to BeautyCon either a year or 2 ago, I don't remember. And the lines were just as bad, but there was like very clear organization, and the aisles were still clear, and there wasn't nearly as much bumping. And so that was something I can live with, but the fact that it was just like there were people all over you all the time, and I was like, please get out of my bubble. But I did see some amazing drag. I saw some amazing art. I saw amazing people, and I was just surrounded by love, glitter, and happiness for 2 whole days, and I don't think anyone would be against that. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys very soon. Now that I have a routine down and have my schedule figured out, I should be posting more regularly. So thank you so much for your patience and for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you. Bye. Mwah.